What an ugly, ugly game for the Buccaneers defense. Mahomes and the running game absolutely dismantled the Buccaneers defense and put up 41 on them. They haven't given up, in the totality of 4 games, I believe it was 27 points in total or something like that. Or not in one game, 20, whatever it was. It was
they gave up more points in that one game than they've given up in all the prior ones.
All season. Buccaneers, the offense seems to, the offense was pretty good this time, 31 points compared. They didn't score 20.
Brady had a good game.
Brady had a very, very good game, almost 400 yards. But were you surprised?
3 touchdown passes.
It was they each had 3 touchdowns, each over 300 yards. But were you surprised how easy down on the Buccaneers?
Well, the Chiefs have a good offense.
Right.
There's no doubt about that, right? And I think it was the turnovers that the first play of the game, the kickoff, the guy fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
That's 7 points right there, right?
Yep.
So that's 7 points you take off the Chiefs score, right?
Yep.
And that means it's only a 3-point game.
Well, and then the Buccaneers drove down on their first offensive drive and only put up 3 as well. So you turn that into 4. You turn that into another extra 4. That's a touchdown.
Yeah, they could have won that game.
Buccaneers win by 1.
I do think the defense for the Bucs has got a wake-up call there, right? With the run game for the Chiefs. Usually the Bucs have a great run defense, but they don't have Sue this year or JPP. So maybe their run defense is not as good, but they look great on defense up until this game. But I think that first play, I think that was a kind of a defining moment in that game, right? And they went right. They got the touchdown run on the next play, I think, to Kelsey. So
it was very, very soon after that.
It was in 1 or 2 plays. So I still think the Bucs are a good team. I think they're going to be there at the end. And I have them playing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens.
I was not as surprised as I thought I would be by how badly the run defense is, because I clearly remember when they, at the very, very beginning of the year, it might have been even in the beginning of the preseason, but especially the beginning of week 1, when I saw the Buccaneers line up on defense and that interior line, when they didn't re-sign Ndamukong Suh, when they didn't re-sign JPP, and in that first game against the Cowboys, where the Cowboys were able to get not a lot of rushing yards, but some rushing yards, more than the Buccaneers would allow, I was like, this rush defense is nowhere near what it used to be last year, or even the year prior, because they've been top 3 in rush defense for the past 3 years. This year, the Chiefs almost put up 200 rushing yards against the Buccaneers, and Mahomes threw for over 300 yards. So we're talking about a total of about 500 yards. Probably even more than that, because I don't know Mahomes' exact passing yard number. I think I have it right here. 249, so he didn't even throw for 300 yards. We're talking potentially 500, close to 500 yards. He didn't need to. Right? They ran for like 189 yards.
Yeah.
So this Buccaneers defense looks not great.
It's surprising because Todd Bowles is a big defensive guy, right? Now he's the head coach.
Right. But you know what? There is some life because...
But their defense was great before that. Well, so I'm sure they were as surprised as anybody that the defense played that poorly.
Well, they
and again, it was a shootout. It was a shootout game.
Not really, because the Chiefs were in full control. I think you're right. From the first play, it was an entire momentum shift.
The first play had a
momentum shift.
Big impact on that game.
Because I think if Brady needed to set the tone in that, because Mahomes was playing to try to gain respect back, because the last time he played in Tampa was the Super Bowl where they lost 31-9.
Yeah.
So Mahomes was playing for something, and throughout the entire game he was fired up, screaming, cheering, high-fiving his teammates, getting the Chiefs hyped up. But the Buccaneers defense, I have it here, they played a Dak Prescott who got hurt by banging his hand onto a Buccaneers player's helmet. He's been out since week 1. A Saints game with Jameis Winston, who needs another round of LASIK eye surgery, the amount of turnovers he's been given up. Green Bay, who people hate on their receivers, which is our next topic. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers against the Patriots. We're going to talk about that right after the break, after this topic. But their receiving core isn't great, but it isn't bad either. I think it's a lot better than what people think.
They had a better receiving core than the Bucs.
Right, yeah, the Buccaneers were crippled on offense. Yeah. I guarantee you, if the Buccaneers had not even every single player, but if they had Mike Evans or Chris Godwin or Julio Jones, They scored 12 points with Russell Gage, Scotty Miller, and Cole Beasley.
Beasley is his first game back in this year.
And Brady already hates him because he falls down as soon as he catches the ball. He doesn't have many yards after the catch. So you put any one of those receivers in there, they easily put up 25, 26 points, in my opinion, because they put up 12.
They would have beat the Packers. If
they would have easily beaten the Packers. Easily beaten the Packers. And then you bring in the Chiefs, who have motivation, and the old Buccaneers defense came back when it comes to passing. I saw so many plays where they would play drop coverage, and Mahomes would just keep throwing underneath. This Chiefs team doesn't have big plays anymore. You should be playing
dink and dunk.
Exactly.
Dink and dunk.
I don't know why. I wasn't picking apart the Buccaneers defense, but I think they played too high safety, which is what they played against Tyreek Hill, so Tyreek Hill couldn't get behind them. Why? Who's gonna beat you? Juju Smith-Schuster? He ain't gonna beat you over the top. And then Mahomes had one ugly interception that was just, it was pointless at that point, but he did have an interception. It's just the way the Buccaneers played was horrible. Brady had a great game. Almost 400 yards, 385 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He threw, I think it's 75% completion percentage on like 53 attempts. So, and another thing, they didn't run the ball. They ran the ball, I think, 6 times for 3 yards. It was bad. But you couldn't run the ball because you were down like 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So as soon as you're down by, 2 touchdowns, 10 points, 2 scores, you're only going to pass the ball. Because now you're playing quick offense. You can't be running the ball wasting time. And Brady had a few very, very good, barely over 2-minute drives for touchdowns. It was impressive. They could move the ball much, much easier with Chris Godwin, with Mike Evans, and with Julio Jones.
I think they go on a pretty long win streak here now, the Bucs.
Let's see the next couple matchups, because they're playing Atlanta, and with the recent news of Tom Brady, supposedly, this is not one of our topics, but I'll bring it up just because of this. I have a feeling it might affect this. If the report from New York Post's page 6 is true about Brady and Giselle hiring divorce lawyers,
I heard that she's hired lawyers. He hasn't.
Well, they have. That's what I read.
I don't think that's the way a divorce works. You have your lawyer and she has hers.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I read that they both have hired them, or that divorce lawyers have been hired for that situation. Brady plays Atlanta next week with Marcus Mariota and who? AJ Terrell is the only great defender on that defense. I'm predicting, if Mike Evans is healthy, if Chris Godwin's healthy, if Julio Jones is healthy, and if these reports are true, I think this could go one of 2 ways. Brady realizes, this is real and I'm about to lose my wife of 13 years. Or he says, okay, and puts up 500 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think he's not going to have a good game. He'll either have a great game or it'll be terrible. It'll be very, very ugly. That's how I see this next game, because they're playing Atlanta. Atlanta's not really good. They're in a lot of games, but I just think, you know what? They lost Cordell Patterson he got put on IR.
Really?
He got put on IR at least 4 weeks.
Wow, that's tough for them.
Yeah, so they will not have a great running game.
He's one of their best players.
He's right now the best player. So they're not going to have many attacks. So this Buccaneers defense could, they could start eating again, gain some confidence back after being completely dismantled. But I think, you know what? If I had to guess, I would say Brady has a great game.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he'd be very, very fired up.
Yep.
This might be probably Brady's most emotional game he's played. That's my guess, and I don't even care what the point spread is. If the reports are true, the point spread should be like -10 or something like that for the Buccaneers. I think they're going to go off because Falcons don't have anything, and Brady, when he flips that switch, it's just get out of his way because it's going to get really ugly for you.
I agree.
But this game against the this game against the Chiefs was embarrassing. It was very, very embarrassing. There's nothing they could do, and Brady hurt himself on the strip sack. That, you know what, he's really good at speed reading the defensive front. What the defense will probably be. He completely missed Snead on the blitz, got strip sacked and hurt his throwing arm on that. So he got up right after that strip sack, started throwing. He was uncomfortable. The backup quarterback started also practicing. But Brady got out there, played very, very well in the second half, but the defense could not stop the Chiefs a single time. It was an absolute destruction for the Buccaneers defense.